Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another exciting episode of You've Already Peaked Gaming Podcast, featuring your host, Locarthemanbeast, and me, DjLobsterDust. Happy Monday. Hope you all are enjoying that extra hour of sleep that's been robbed from you.
Oh, fuck, that's right.
That's tonight. Tonight.
Oh, my God.
At 1:59, everything's going to turn, and it's going to go from 1:59 to 2:59 instantaneously.
All right, fall back, spring ahead. Is that what it is?
Jesus. Spring forward.
Oh, that's so obnoxious.
Yeah. Yeah, it sure is.
Dude, daylight savings is the worst. It's such a...
Get rid of it.
It doesn't make any sense. Nobody gives a shit.
Get rid of it.
You know?
It made sense
200 years ago?
Whenever it came about, like 100 years ago, so that like farmers have lights now. We have technological advances. We don't need this.
Yeah. What does it actually benefit at all?
It's like maybe not as extreme. It's like a checkbook.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we don't need to balance a checkbook because we have apps that do it, you know? Technology's come. Some people still do it. Good for you.
I can understand if there was some type of, outside of just the farming aspect of it, like if there was some beneficial gains of like just breaking up hours throughout the year or whatever, you know, I could see it, but it just, I don't know. It's this one that sucks the most. Like the one in the wintertime when we gain that hour, all of a sudden, like you get to sleep in the extra hour or whatever, and you're like, oh man, this was nice. Like that's it's this one that sucks.
No, just take this one and run with it. Just from here on out, let this be the time. Don't give us the extra hour and make us feel like we're getting something. Mm-hmm. Make the nighttime just stay a little later.
Yep. And
just leave it there. Yeah. Leave it there.
Yeah.
Did you know? Fun fact, in the medical world, at every spring forward, that loss of sleep for 1 hour, heart attacks jump by like 92%.
Really?
Real thing. Oh yeah, because sleep is huge for like heart health. And every year on the same thing, it goes back as far as daylight savings. Like I forget what medical center started it, but like they're like, hey, let's do a test. And like every year they get empirical data that shows that on this specific day that everybody loses an hour of sleep across the whole United States. There is like it's something absurd. Like I want to say like 92% higher risk of heart attacks coming into hospitals and stuff.
God, man, if I could only go out that way, that'd be nice.
Fuck no. Are you kidding? Have you seen somebody have a heart attack?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, no, I don't want that. No, like they're like their skin turns like a weird color. It's not even like blue or anything like that. It's just like this weird, like reddish, like somehow almost green at the same time. Fucking nah.
Dude, if I had to go, brain aneurysm would be a good one. Cause it's just, you know.
Oh yeah. You don't even know what the fuck happened.
Yeah. You're just there and then you're not. Yeah, dude. I don't want to do the slow death. Like the fucking 80+-year-old where it's like, you know, you're on hospice care for like 3 months and like they're just running out the end of your life. Like just pump me with the morphine and get me out of here.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Oh man. I'm a mess today. I drank way too much last night. Yeah, I drank way
let's
too
jump
much.
Back into it. What are you doing?
Nothing. I was just out at a birthday party and just went fucking banana-ramas. I got up the day and it was like, oh, I'm a little hungover. I haven't drank like that in I just don't drink like that anymore. And I was just fucking plugging.
If you don't use it, you do in fact lose it.
You do in fact lose it. And I'm actually okay with that because waking up and feeling the way I did today was just that affirming factor that I was like, I don't want to drink like this anymore. Like, that was fun for one time period. I don't want to do it. Like, my birthday's right around the corner. No, I'm not doing that. Like, there's no fucking way. I don't have.
Come out to the woods with me.
I mean, I'll come out to the woods with you, but like, I'm not doing that again. Like, I'm not just.
No, let's drink absinthe and hunt Wendigos. Let's get some fucking like Amazon fucking lights and let's drink that much and let's hunt Wendigos.
Better story. Let's get like the IRF like night vision goggles. We'll get a GoPro. We'll eat a bunch of DMT and then we'll go hunt Wendigos.
Yes. Yeah. Let's microdose and watch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on mute while just like the audio is nothing but the return of innocence.
Let's eat an eighth of mushrooms. We'll put on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but me and you have to act out the voice lines from the entire movie from memory.
Let's get an ounce of Peruvian flake, just that fucking Bam Bam marching powder, and spend an entire evening creating a shell corporation with like LinkedIn profiles and shopping the movie and gaming rights to the entire Dungeon Crawler Carl series to what we believe would be the best suited studio to take on that responsibility.
I am fucking.
I can't stop thinking. Like, I just keep reading. How is this not already like a series? Like it has to be well done because it'd be easy to fuck it up. But also, how is there not a game? Oh God, just like can you imagine?
That's what I've been talking about for like 2 weeks. It's amazing. It's such a good story.
Oh.
Did you finish book 1?
Yeah, I'm like 100 pages into book 2.
Okay. Dude, it's so good. It's so good.
Oh, it's criminally undersold. And I don't care how much you tried to sell it. It would never. It's so good.
It's one of those series where you just have to read it. You just have to read it. Like, someone can kind of try to explain like the plot and the scenario, and you can't unless you're going to spoil it. You can't really give information.
No, yeah.
The more you try to explain what's going on, the more you spoil the rest of the story. So it's very much like you have to just read it. And once you do, all of a sudden you're like, okay, this is fucking phenomenal. Like, I like midway through the first book, I was like, I am already very hooked. Like, I'm so interested to see what is happening.
A book's good when you're like losing sleep. I fell asleep reading it.
Yeah, dude. I told you.
Woke up and like my Kindle's right there. I was like, oh shit. Oh, I like, and I remember like fighting, like, keep going.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. That's how. Oh my God. That's how it was on. Oh, was it book? I think it was the end of book 2 or book 3 or something. When I put in like 400. Oh yeah, it was book 3. Literally, I fell asleep and I was like, I want to get through this chapter, and just passed out. And then like when I picked the book back up, I was like, I knew I was tired and trying to plug through it. I was like, I have to go back like 4 or 5 pages because I for sure did not retain any of the information on this. And then like going in and rereading, a couple pages just to catch back up and then finishing. Fuck, dude, it's so good. It's so good.
My girl came home. Tonight. I had been sitting on the couch reading long enough, but like the Kindle has like a light on it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really realize, like, the door opened. She's like, why are you in the dark? Like, it's completely dark in the entire house. No lights are on. I'm just like a fucking creepy iPad kid. It's so good.
It's so good, man.
And God, wouldn't that be such a fucking great game? Imagine, like, I don't know how you would do it, but like a long form, it's kind of battle royale-ish. You're going down and stuff like that, but also with like RPG, like roguelike aspects. Like, that would be such a fucking game.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it is.
The hard part's done. There's so much like detail and legwork done in that. It's just fucking plug and play. Just make it good.
The best part about the book 2 is that, and this is where my head goes if they wanted to make a movie or whatever, they have to tote the line so well between like seriousness and comedy. Like, because there's so much of that book that makes me smile and laugh, but then like all the rest of the undertones of it is just like, woo, dude, this is really heavy shit to like, you know what I mean? So there's a part at the end of book 3 that happens, and it had me fucking doubled over, like laughing. Like I don't get that very often when you read a book. You know what I mean? When you're reading, you're kind of like,
you kind of like chuckle a little bit. There's definitely been some parts already where like it's like when you like the difference between like LOL, like in replying to somebody's text message and like literally like 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 that outburst that just fucking happens.
Yeah, there was a point. There's a point in the end of book 3 that I was laughing. I was rolling. Just the whole situation that ended up happening. And it's such a minor, tiny little fucking thing that doesn't do anything for the story. It was just a situation that happened. I was fucking rolling. It was so good. Oh my God. It's hands down my favorite book series. And that's to say a lot, because I've read a lot. Like, I love the Expanse novels. Was never a really big fan of the Lord of the Rings stuff. Tolkien's work is fine. I was okay.
Yeah,
I
you're
like
just
it.
one of those. You just don't like fantasy stuff.
I'm not a big fantasy. No, I'm not a big fantasy person.
You need that fucking Star Trek shit.
Yeah, man. The more sci-fi it gets, the better. I mean, this isn't very sci-fi. I mean, it kind of is. It kind of totes that line, but it feels a lot more fantasy.
It's a good
like
it's a good mixture of the two, I would say.
Just because there's aliens in an AI system doesn't necessarily make it sci-fi. You know what I mean? Because everything that's happening while they're doing
I forgot about the aliens and that stuff in Lord of the Rings. Yeah,
I was talking about Dungeon Crawler. Fuck you. But
I can. That's how I know you went hard. I can hear the water going in, but I can hear your organs like they're gulping more than your mouth is. Please.
I need more water.
It's like koi fish when you go put like their food on the water. Just, that's your liver just coming out of your esophagus. Just, please.
Man, earlier today, I was just like, I'm going to try and eat
I think you text us at like 2:30. You're like, man, I haven't drank like that in a long time. I was like, oh, buddy.
It was about, oh my God. Yeah, it was about 2:00 today where like I finally got to the point where it was like, I'm starting to feel like a normal human being enough to like get up and go take a piss. And then like took a shower and then immediately was like laid back down. You know, those like hangover days where I'm really cold, but I'm like kind of sweaty and clammy. And then like just moving is an uncomfortable thing. So the remote to the TV was just a little bit too far from where I was laying. And so like the next like loop and whatever I was watching on YouTube was going on. And I was like, this is so fucking boring. I need to change it. But I had no energy to just go and grab the remote. I was just like, I'm just sitting in my own hell right now. So, oh man. Okay.
When I picture you that drunk, no matter what the situation is, like if I picture like man, I haven't drank like that. All I picture is you and a giant bottle of Stoli Blueberry screaming, "It's the Bellagio," and just spraying random people, shaking vodka on people in Vegas.
That's about that. Yeah. I'm the Bellagio.
It's the Bellagio. Just vodka going fucking everywhere.
Oh my God. That one guy. What the fuck, man?
Wisconsin.
Yeah. Oh God. That was too funny. So I played Avowed.
Whew. Do you want to wait till we can do this next week when you're not hungover if you don't feel like vomiting?
I feel like getting it out now. I think the purge will help anyway. Okay, so let me backtrack. There is a lot of people that believe this game is like overly woke or whatever. That is a huge like one of the main.
I don't know where that came from.
I don't know either. And because I've been playing it, I started actually watching some like, the shitty YouTube reviews of some guy's take on it, and he's like, "This is just woke fucking cancel culture, liberal bullshit." You know, it's like, what the fuck is going on? And I tried to like understand where they're. I don't know if it's just people just being grotesque about it because Obsidian did Outer Worlds or Outer Worlds or whatever, and then that was just a little bit more different type of game that kind of had those tones, but not really. One guy was like, I think it was based off of the fact that when you do the character creation, you get a choice to do a pronoun choice. And I think the minute people saw that you could make a pronoun choice, they just immediately assumed, oh, it was like, well, the colors are super overly vibrant and you get a pronoun choice, so therefore it's got to be a woke game or whatever. Like all the females in the game are built like linebackers. Like, it's just like, I
think I did see something like that. Like a review that said that like they like tried to make like the females overly masculine or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, but if you look at like
true,
sure, true, whatever. But it's also like just character design. Like all the guys look super fucking
back to like Asmongold's fucking like, oh, they're making the girls ugly.
Yeah, dude. It just I didn't see the 2 and 2 in that to make sense to me. Like where
Dawson Connect.
It did not feel woke. There's not like enough, and I don't know how much I've put. I've looked at it 10 hours or about 11 hours.
Well, you're pretty progressive. Let me get a hold of that thing, and I'll give you the real, honest review.
I have been trying to do my best to stick through, like the storyline and read the story and like understand it and talk to characters and shit like that. There's a lot of fucking dialogue in that game. There's a lot of dialogue, and it's just like, okay, skip. Let me just plug through this because this is irrelevant conversations I could care less about. The game, like I think I was talking to you about this. I texted you. It's just boring.
Yeah,
it's just boring. There is some cool things about it. Like they have like a parkour system that allows you to like ledge hop and stuff like that. There's a lot of exploration in the game, right? Like the verticality of what you can do, like it does make the world feel pretty open. Like if you're just running through the world and you see something and you go over to it, there's a way for you to kind of mantle to get up on top of things. And then sometimes being able to mantle to get up on top of it leads you in a way that you can discover new shit or like jump around. Like, oh, you need a key for this, but then find out that if you go through and jump off rocks in this whole thing and get in the back, there's a window that's broken. You can get inside without needing the key. So there's, things like that kind of make it interesting, but it just feels samey all the way through. Like the whole first chapter and then going into the second zone and then like plugging through most of the second zone. I was just like, at a certain point, it was like, there's nothing new happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The unique weapons that you got were cool at first, but then it was like, I'm not really seeing anything overly interesting about the way that I'm playing. You're just basically trying to gain material to upgrade your weapons to stick within a level. Like you can see, like, over an enemy's name, it's like a blue bar or a purple bar or whatever. And like that kind of lets you know your tiering of what that enemy's scaled up to. Because they don't scale with you level wise. They just scale with you item progression wise. And so like if you go into fight mobs that are tier 3, but you only have a tier 2 weapon, like you're going to struggle. You're going to be having a hard time fighting them. So the game just kind of turns into this, like, it doesn't matter what you pick. It doesn't matter what you use. You just kind of make sure that you're at par or above with whatever the enemies are. And you can just walk through everything. Okay, fine. It's just nothing interesting. The cool, interesting things, there's like a bounty system in certain new areas that you go to, and you can like kill bosses or whatever for the bounty system. And some of them have like some unique things, or there's multiple different ones. And hey, cool. Other than that, it's just a generic game, like RPG game, and it just doesn't hold my interest. I was talking to Sean about it because he started playing it. It's like, it's one of those games where I'm playing it, but the minute something else comes up, I probably will stop playing it and I'll never go back to finish it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The only reason I'm not playing it is just one, because we said if we're going to do anything dumpster fire worthy, we need to be playing it.
I don't think it's dumpster fire worthy.
It's definitely not Silver Lining.
No, I just think it's something that just gets forgotten about, you know?
Yeah. It's unfortunate, dude. The game is beautiful. It's beautiful. The world looks good. I mean, animations are fine. Combat is meh. AI is ooh. But like the world itself and the world building itself and the new areas themselves are really, really unique. Like even like some of the towns and stuff that you go to and the way that they're set up, it looks cool, man. It looks cool. Just I think that's all that it was. It's a giant playable painting, you know? Because when you actually get into the nitty gritty, it's just like I don't know about this.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. I don't really have anything to say. It's
I just don't know.
Meh.
Yeah, meh. It's weird too. I feel like I heard about Avowed, but I didn't really know much about it.
Avowed was on my radar.
That's what you kept saying, and I was like,
only because I was having a lot of fun playing like Red Dead, getting back into Cyberpunk, and it just like it felt like well, maybe I should go back to like RPGs and play shit like that.
Yeah.
And like just looking into like what was coming out soon, Avowed was on that list. I was like, oh, okay. And people were saying, I don't know if anybody said Skyrim killer. I feel like it got thrown around somewhere, but I was like, oh, okay, like cool. That could be something fun to look into. And as soon as it came out, people were like, look at this. It was like a side by side of like shooting a bow and arrow in Skyrim, which is fucking how many years old. And then that, and it's like, that doesn't look good. Just like little like comparisons, like that. It just kind of was like, maybe it's not for me. And then out of fucking nowhere, I didn't see this coming. Like everybody started shitting on it. It's like, is this a thing? Like,
and I think the shitting on it point of it is $70 game. It just doesn't.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's fair. I feel like.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to charge 70, like you better put out a good like, especially I feel like on computer, like Steam.
Yeah.
You could probably get away with it on consoles because that's like just like a uniform. Like I feel like they're the ones that like set like, oh, this is how much games go for. This is how much games go for. Shit like that. So, but even then, it's like if you're going to release it on console, it's going to come out like this.
What? And I guess on console too, it's like frame capped or something. Like I think so. Even people were talking about on like Series X or whatever, like it was 30 frames or something like that. Maybe I don't remember if that was before they got patched or something. But I mean, even still, this is an Xbox game, right? Like Xbox, like publisher, Obsidian developer. Big push. This was a huge thing for this whole thing. And because of that being a AAA like game in itself, came out at $70 and you play it and you're like, I'm just not seeing what's worth $70. It's a big game and there's a lot of stuff. I've been on the subreddit too, and people are like, man, after my first playthrough, like I now realize like a bunch of stuff. Like I can't wait to hop back in. Some people have been like, yeah, man, I'm 60 hours in the game and I'm still finding things that are amazing about it. Da, da, da. And I'm like, that's cool for you, but have you never ever played a game before? Like, is this your first video game? Because if that's the case, sure, that's where your mind's fucking blown. But like for everything else, it's like, all right, I'm just not seeing it, you know?
Yeah.
Magic is maybe a little too overpowered in that game too. I think that's like kind of the deciding factor.
Well, the review that I saw where this guy was like, everybody's shitting on it. Like, I want to like give like an honest one. He's like, the story, there's not a lot there, but like it's a fun playthrough. It's like this. He's like, magic is like, you can tell that's where they put their focus on. Even like some like range combat's good, and he's like, stay away from just like fucking melee because you can tell it feels boring, it feels slow, it just doesn't feel good. And if there's three, if it's like ranged, melee, and magic, and you've taken away melee, it just kind of feels a little to me.
I've been playing a sword and dagger build because I got these two uniques. I got a sword that I ended up getting dropped from, so there was an NPC on a quest or whatever, and I kept fucking around with shit around the area, and he got all pissed off and attacked me and turned into a boss fight. I was like, cool, and he dropped a dope-ass sword. And then I had a unique dagger from another, boss I found somewhere that did fire damage. So I've been meleeing like dagger to light someone on fire, and then the sword that I have that helps regenerate health to like kind of get in and do things. And then I have my abilities that I use to kind of like, because I've kind of gone the ranger class. So it's like tap dagger in, hit them, kind of dodge out, and then go invisible, get behind, and do like your backstab ability. Like you'd sneak up on people. And it felt kind of dope, but then you realize there's not anything else out besides just waiting for the cooldowns to come off. Like you're just like hack, cooldowns off. Okay, push, backstab. You don't really kill them first try. Maybe you do if they're low enough health. As you're fighting 10 mobs at once, and you get one backstab, and now I got to wait another like 12 seconds for my cooldown. So I just hack. There's just, it doesn't have enough. And like the AI is just really bad, and like the bears will stand up and like do like this weird swiping thing, but the animation just looks shitty. Like sometimes like AI teleports, or like you'll go to attack and they'll just kind of slide to where they need to be for a melee attack, and it's like, oh man, it's just I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think it's a bad game. Like I don't think that I don't think it's worth all the hate that it's getting. I don't think it's a bad game by any means. Like I think in the standard open world RPG aspect of video games, it's fine. It's fine. But that's all it is. It's just fine. I don't think it's worth $70. I don't think it's worth a second playthrough. I don't really think it's worth, if you, have access to other games, even other Obsidian games. I don't feel like this is where you go to.
Yeah.
Character creation is also fucking whack too, man. There's this, so I did this thing called Godlike. That's one of their, it gives you just like different story options or whatever. And there's the whole overarching story is like, you can be these godlike people that have these very specific facial features and stuff. And like, weird shit.
Very Scandinavian.
It's very fairy-like.
High cheekbones.
Yeah. Just weird fucking mushrooms growing out of your face and shit like that. And like, oh, it's a godlike. And it's like, it's an interesting idea for a story, because like you'll get a lot of things in the game where you're talking to people and they're like, holy shit, a godlike, like I didn't know you guys were still around, and blah blah blah. But all of the character creation stuff for godlikes are just awful. And like I said, you just have like flowers in your hair and like mushrooms growing out of your face. It's like, you're godlike. Like, dude, you need a shave. Like, you look rough.
Just came out of the ground, shit growing off of you.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And like the whole thing is like, it's really interesting too, because you're like, oh man, I wonder what the whole thing is like. And they're like, oh, well, you're godlike. What does that mean? And like your character's like, don't know. Don't even know the god that like cursed me like this. And he's just like this weird, you kind of just glance over it type of idea.
The NPC, are you sure? It feels like somebody should have put something in about this.
Yeah, exactly.
This kind of feels big.
It's a point that you'll get to much later in the story. But it's also one of those things too, where again, I'm looking at this story going, okay, I just don't see myself staying interested, because it just doesn't hold any sustenance, man. Maybe 60 hours into the game, maybe towards the end of the game, all of a sudden my mind will change on it. But I have to want to get to that point, and it's fucking terribly hard, man. I am so bored. You gotta
sink the hook.
Yeah. The new player experience was fine. Learning the game was fine. I started playing on controller at first, and then I swapped over to mouse and keyboard. And actually, I feel like mouse and keyboard plays a little bit better than controller, honestly. And it's just fine. It's fine. Me and Sean picked up, or Sean bought for me, Monster Hunter Wilds. And
have you played that?
So we did. We played a little bit. We played the other night for.
That's got early rumblings of game of the year.
Well, you know what?
If it can run on your system.
Honestly, for a lot of people, they're saying it's unable to run on your system. So I played during the beta and didn't have any problems. And I played with Sean the other night and I didn't have any problems. There's a little bit of like, I couldn't tell if it was like game chug or if it was network chug. You know what I mean? Because we were trying to play together and doing like co-op stuff. The game felt fine by itself And then the only time I felt like there was any chug was when me and Sean were doing something together. And then it was like, is it chugging? Is it just like, is there too much shit going on screen? Or is it just like the network's just struggling to keep up with one another? I played World when it came out, Monster Hunter World when it came out, and I lost myself in that game. That was such a good game. And that was a massive game. It was huge. And I think WoW is supposed to be bigger than that game. So it's one of those things where you get into it and you got to plug away, and it is a lot. There's a lot to it. So I had a blast playing it. And Sean, this is Sean's first Monster Hunter game. And he was loving it.
I haven't played Monster Hunter. Whoever was describing it to me when it first came out, I was like, doesn't sound like something for me. Now that I'm like watching reviews and like people playing it, I can see the draw to it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks fun.
Yeah. Hunting down monsters, like these giant monsters and beasts and fights, and like it's not quick. You're not just like hack. Oh, you killed it, move on. Like there's points of the fight that the beast will run away and you got to go and chase them down, you know, and find different places to hunt them and how to kill them. And there's an idea behind it too, where after you've killed them, you know, you harvest them, you get all your materials and everything, and then you can build better weapons, better armor for that type of stuff. But there's something of synergy based on each monster will give you something. Like, yeah, you may just have better stats, but then there might be things that like, oh, well, this one also gives you like paralysis, like protection, resistance or whatever. And then another monster you go and fight is like, it only does paralysis against it. So it's like, oh, fuck, I need a full set of armor for this monster. So then you go back to farm that monster again, get more of the stuff, build a full set of gear, and then take on the next monster. And then you kill that monster and find out that, you know, it had... building a weapon gives you fire damage, and then the next monster you have, you find out that they take more damage to fire. Okay, go back and farm that one.
So it's almost like Valheim.
Yeah, sure.
Each biome almost kind of sets you up for the next one. You kind
of you very much so. Like it's not so much biome in that Valheim sketch, but it's more or less like you picking and choosing like your build, your type of weapons, like, and you'll find out like some monsters are super fast. So using slow weapons doesn't make any sense. So you want to build weapons that are a little bit quicker, but then knowing where the resistances are, what you will need for each of the fights, how to build a kit of different things, like flying mobs, will require these things called flash pods. If you flash pod a flying mob, they'll fall out of the air and then you can attack them. So there's things like that where it's just knowing what the enemy is going to take, and then, you know, bringing the stuff necessary. And you won't always know when you find a new monster, you don't have the knowledge on it. You have to fight the monster first, and then you can unlock stuff from the encyclopedia. You go back in and look at it, and it's like, yeah, this monster's, you know, resistant to this, you know, takes more damage against this. We'll do this in certain phases and things. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. And then there's also things where like certain monsters have tails. You can attack certain points of the monster, like the tail, cut the tail off, and it'll give you a different resource, which will then allow you to make other things. So it's really, the scope of it is huge, but it's very simple to get to understand. It's just fights take a long time. Like you can fight a monster and it'll take you 20 minutes.
I guess I just need to fucking get that other computer up and running again. Because I've seen people and they're talking about, they're like, the game, everybody's saying it's like a big contender for game of the year. Like this is like their big moment. And that the only thing that they think is holding it back is that how it runs on quote unquote older systems. Like they were saying, like even like a 2070 isn't like holding it well. So this computer, I don't know if it would, and I almost don't want to taint my experience by being like, fuck, it doesn't like work very, like I have to turn down all my settings and all of a sudden everything looks like shit on there.
Yeah, good point. I mean,
but that is one that I do want to get into. Especially if it is game of the year contender. I gotta weigh in on this, bud. Yap Awards are coming.
Yeah, we'll be here before you know it. I mean, we're already like midway through March. No, we're beginning of March, but even still.
Split Fiction just dropped.
Yeah, I saw that. I
thought it was like a week and a half later.
I thought it was. Yeah, I definitely thought it was the end of the month or the beginning of April time. I want to play it.
It's out. Play that. I haven't got it yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely going to be something that I'll have here. I'll probably download it tomorrow, and then me and the missus will.
I was going to say that's like
work on our marriage.
Yeah.
See their first game saved my marriage before it was a marriage. Saved my relationship.
Or does it Take Two?
No. It Takes Two.
It Takes Two. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. That was Dr. Ramon, The Book of Love.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Just fucking great. It's such a fun game.
It is a very fun game. It's a very interesting.
And their CEO is even better. If that's possible.
Yeah. It's like, that was the guy that was like, oh, I don't give a fuck. Like at the Game Awards or whatever. He's like, what are we out here doing? Making shit? Yeah, we're playing fucking games. Like, oh, dude, you're a real man, dude.
Yeah. Oh, just fucking screaming.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That guy was sick.
Oh, fuck. Man, yeah. I mean, I've been just trying to plug away and look at certain games, and I mean, I think Kingdom Come Deliverance is still on my list of the next one that I think I
want to get in there too.
After playing Avowed, I'm like, Kingdom Come Deliverance might be the next one that I like want to sink my teeth into.
After playing Chivalry, that's the one I want to fucking sink my teeth into.
Have you played Chivalry yet?
Me and Will were a little drunk last night playing it.
Uh-huh.
It was rough. It was rough. Yeah, well, just the we just completely skipped the tutorial. I was like, I'm drunk, and he's like, yeah, let's fucking go, pussy. So we hopped in, and you definitely need a tutorial because you see people like crouching, blocking, and like doing like all these different stuff. I had no clue what I was doing. I'm just mashing buttons like it's Street Fighter 2 and I'm Blanca. Like I'm trying, but I was getting smoked left and right by people.
Yeah.
But the game itself was fun. It just even something as simple as like you run and like you can press C and your guy just like, depending on what character you are or depending on whatever voice line you get, I don't know what it is, but like the battle cry, like some of them are like, raw, but others like, ha, like awkward. So I spent a lot of it just like running around, pressing that, like running in a circle. Like it's fun.
It feels like it's one of those games too, where the more time you put into it, the better you get. But then that's also where if you get in too late, like you are playing against sweats that like know all the little, it's like almost impossible to win fights sometimes.
I was trying to figure out like how, like, because if you like press F, you can like kick somebody back, and I was like, oh, so maybe that's like a stun that will like break like their block or whatever. But like I was like nothing, and like I couldn't block and swing fast enough to like kill anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But like the guys I was coming up against were like block, hit, block, and I'm like, what the fuck? So then I'd block, and then you'd see them duck down, and then they're hitting my legs. I'm like, fucking, like, just there is a complex fighting system in there that I just haven't learned. It was a lot of fun though. Just dicking around.
I'll have to put it on download then and just make sure that it's ready to rock. Because I keep telling myself like, okay, just make sure you get the download going, and then I just have not had time. I've just been so freaking busy. And then my little time that I have had has been trying to play Avowed, and I just
what a worthy cause.
God, man,
you put a lot more time in. Like you've given it the old college try. You put a lot more time in than I thought. Like, man, I'm playing this the next day. Man, this game still sucks. Like, how are you still?
I tried. I was like, any game that I play, something on a game that's that size, like those are one of those games where even if you didn't like it in the first couple hours, you really haven't seen much of the game. Right.
Fair.
2 hours is probably a drop in the ocean compared to what that game actually has to offer. So I was like, okay, I'm going to keep plugging until something seems interesting. And then 12 hours in, I was like, I am still just as uninterested as I was hour one. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, maybe this is not the game. Cause and that's what I'm like, I played Pillars of Eternity. I played a lot of Pillars of Eternity, and then I played I don't think I beat Pillars of Eternity 2, but like as a CRPG, like it's a really, really good story. And like CRPGs are really hard to come by. Like that's like the old school original Baldur's Gate style like gameplay, you know what I mean? Um but the story was so unique and almost kind of dark and off-putting and stuff, and it was really cool. And so Avowed is based in the Pillars of Eternity universe. Like a first couple like notes and things that you find at the very beginning kind of explain the Pillars of Eternity stuff, and it's like, okay, cool, like this is really interesting. But I feel like that's as far as it goes.
Yeah,
You know, I just haven't seen much. And like I said,
just a missed opportunity.
And not only just a missed opportunity, but it's just I see too much of other games slammed into it makes it feel like it just doesn't have its own identity. Maybe that's the wokeness of it, you know.
That is that is true though. It is huge. Like if you play a game that feels generic, it doesn't really stand out. It doesn't seem special. It kind of has to have like its own unique twist somewhere, like that's easily identifiable.
Traversing the land and the verticality of it doesn't feel new to the genre by any means, but it almost feels almost a little dishonoring, where you can just like kind of hop and jump around to certain things, and like the whole idea is you wanting to be up off the ground because that's where you'll find some of the cooler things. The combat, I don't even know how to even begin with that. It's like it wants to be Skyrim, but like it's I feel like a little bit better than Skyrim, but worse in the sense that things don't connect the same way Skyrim does. You know, you could feel the weight in Skyrim. You take a swipe at something, hit something, and you could just tell you were using a great sword or whatever. At this point, it's just hack and slash for Avowed. There's this fucking thing where you meet some deity-like thing that talks to you, and then every time that you go to your camp and you sleep for the night or whatever, you have like conversations with it while you're sleeping. And it just reminded me so much of Baldur's Gate, where it was like, I
think you said something like that in the text message. I was like, huh?
Yeah. It's just like, and to the point where the conversations that you have with this thing don't really do anything. There's no, like the amount of information that's given to you just doesn't fucking matter, to the point where I don't want to sleep from going to camp. Like you have to go to camp to upgrade your weapons and stuff like that. And like, you can just leave camp without sleeping, which is nice, but I don't know if it progresses or doesn't progress the storyline. So it's like, I just don't want it, because every time the conversation happens, it's like, oh, but and your guy is like, always like, can you just not do this while I'm sleeping? And blah, blah. It's just always like a really shitty attitude about that. It's like, it's not fucking interesting. It's just not interesting. But again, it's a hodgepodge. It's this homunculus of the RPG world. And it's like, yeah, here's a new game at $70, and it's like, yeah, it's 6 RPGs in a trench coat. You know?
Yeah.
It's so bad. It's making me want to go back and play. No, it's not bad. It's so boring that I'm actually at the point.
Boring.
Yeah, it's so boring that it makes me want to go back and play other RPGs. Like, it doesn't make me want to finish it. It makes me want to go and play Cyberpunk. You know what I mean? It makes me want to go play fucking, even as bad as it was,
Skyrim for the 35,000.
Fallout 4. You know what I mean? Like, I like playing it, and and even that, I was thinking about it too. I was like, I would rather download mods, make Skyrim look fucking beautiful, or download the overhaul for like one of the stories or whatever.
That was gonna be my next point. Like I've dived into like some videos where it's like, it seems like a lot, but if you download these, like it's like 1,100 mods or something like that. But like they come in like pack, like you download like a folder that's like, this is a complete overhaul. It has 600 separate mods in it, and like all of a sudden, like just like the visuals alone change. And then there's also like new vendors, new quest lines, new fucking like entire stories and stuff like that on a game that's how old? 12 years?
Too old? What, Skyrim came out in
2012?
2012, I think is what it was. 2013?
2013, somewhere around there.
Original release date is 2011.
Yeah. It's just, And it, I don't know. Is it more mod community that like puts these? No, because there's still good titles, but man, like the mod community like keeps the longevity of these games for sure.
I will tell you,
even just Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate has had
that mod
like 3 big drops where it's like they're bringing Curse of Strahd, the whole campaign, to Baldur's Gate. They're like, just the mod community alone is creating all these different things. That game's gonna fucking play forever if it wants.
I feel like any game that like, and we're talking about mods like on that big scale, like that, like actual overhaul mods.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, like Fallout for like New London.
Yep, New London,
shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I even hate to say it, like I know I always bring it up a lot, but like 7 Days to Die, like the mod community for 7 Days to Die that has their overhaul that like changes the entire game altogether. Like you can pick and choose it. So I'm playing right now because I'm finishing up our current series that we have, and then I started a new series that I'm working on. It's a Tarkov overhaul mod for 7 Days to Die, and
you're telling us about that. That seems wild.
It's so good.
Are you still fighting zombies?
It's 7 Days to Die, but like all of the weapons you use are Tarkov weapons, and not like look like Tarkov weapons, are like ripped from Tarkov and put in the game. And like there's an attachment system like the way that you would use in Tarkov, where you can get like just a base AK, and then you have to like, if you want to put a scope on it, you need to put like a mount first, and then you can put the scope on it. Like same thing for like pistols. Like you want to use a pistol with like a flashlight, you got to get a mount thing, a system set up, and then you can put the flashlights on them and stuff. So there's a lot of that. And then I don't know if there's questing and stuff, because the playthrough I'm doing, I've disabled traders. Because I'm trying something a little different. It's a little bit more of a challenging based stuff. I'm still kind of playing with it. I've recorded a few hours. I don't know if I'm excited about this one, because I'm going to try and do something different with this next series that's coming up that I'm not normally do with 7 Days. But outside of that, there's so much to that Tarkov overhaul mod that gives like new crafting systems. Like there's a lot of the items that you get from Tarkov, like matchbooks and stuff like that introduce for new crafting. And like there's the different types of ammunition and stuff like that where you can swap and choose between, you know, HP, BP, BS ammo, things like that.
So are these found to Tarkov it? Are these found in raid, or are they like craftable? Or
yes, it's craftable. A lot of this stuff is craftable. You do.
So they've taken Tarkov things and worked almost essentially building like a whole new crafting system then, right?
Yeah.
Because that's already pretty intense.
You need gunpowder and stuff like that to then craft and make certain things. You need very specific type of caliber or tips and things like that for you to be able to use for certain types of weapons. Like there's a whole system. And then it's like there's so much of the Tarkov items that are in game that you use to break down to craft into other items that will help you craft into those. There's a tiering scaling system on weapons now that are different than the normal game, where you can create certain weapons, but the deeper down the tier you get, you can craft better different ones or whatever it comes out to, but they can all be broken down and used like intermittently between one another. So it's a really, really interesting, fun thing. The best part about it is it's hearing the guns. Like, you know, you play 7 Days, you know, pop, pop, pop. Okay, whatever. It's like you use a shotgun or whatever, but then you hear like an actual 45 fired off in a 7 Days. And it's like, ooh, this feels good. And then zombies are kind of also, you'll see blueberries running around. You'll see guys with press armor. You'll see guys wearing a Karun and like a fucking, like an actual riot helmet. And if you shoot them in the head, they take reduced damage. And so because of that, there's almost a leg meta that now exists in 7 Days to Die. Swear to God, it's the
Catter comes back,
dude. It's the weirdest fucking thing where like I got swarmed by a bunch of dudes in like fucking Karuns and riot helmets, and I was shooting them in the leg to drop them down because it was the only place I could do damage to them. So just fucking running around with a 1911
That's
or whatever.
wild.
And
it's a fucking feral biker and fucking kill a gear.
Yeah, exactly right. And so like it's really cool to see that. And that's what I'm thinking, like when a game has a community that allows mods to be a full overhaul, like the game is like, you can do whatever you want with it. Project Zomboid, 7 Days to Die, Skyrim, like Fallout, you know, where there's just like, they let you run the course and change anything you want. That for me is where those games will have the longevity forever. You know what I mean? Those are games you can play until eventually the game just stops working, you know?
Yeah, no, exactly. Fucking, as long as you keep the servers up. I wonder, how much do you think it costs to, like, if you were a game dev and you're like, man, like, we've stopped selling copies. How long do you think at that point does it cost for them to be like, you know, we have to shut down servers, you know?
Yeah. I mean, well, I guess the idea behind it is like, what do you need a server for? Because like for like 7 days, like it's peer to peer basically. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. There you go.
Or you rent it through, what was that?
Broccoli? Oh, yeah, like G Portal and stuff like that. Okay. All right.
You know, where they just have the game.
So it would just simply be like games like Call of Duty, where it's like online lobbies like that.
Yeah, and I don't think any of those games are really going to have a mod community existing with it. So that's why the turn and burn, you know, you can go back and play old games. Like they have I think there's Battlefield, I think it's 3 or 4. I think 3, or they have a private server that you can play, because I don't think DICE has those servers live anymore or whatever. And there's like a bunch of community members that have just put it all together so they can keep that running. And it's all like private on the side, but you have to kind of hunt for that shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine there's any money invested in a game that's that old. You know, if I want to go back right now and play World at War, like I can buy World at War because it has a single player campaign and there's zombies, but I don't think that there's a multiplayer server. I think that they shut the multiplayer servers down. So it's not like you could play.
Well, deservedly so.
Well,
the only good thing about that game was fucking
zombies.
The original zombies.
I mean, original zombies was fucking tight.
Fucking give me a PPSH fucking Pack-a-Punch twice and the fucking MG42 just fucking camped out on the fucking back alleyway.
Yeah.
Just taking turns. Okay, I'm getting low. Get ready. Okay, I'm reloading. Now you go. And then just, okay. Now we have to run. We have to go back, get some ammo. Now go back and set back up again. Fucking
God. That map was so fucking cool too, man. I will tell you, I met a lot of good friends playing World at War. My buddy Alan, a bunch of other things like that. But the multiplayer for World at War was some of my all-time favorites. It wasn't bad. I was a iron sight bolt action player on those maps. Oh, dude, it was
fucking sweat.
Dude, sweat hard. That the village out on the water, wherever it was, like in like Laos or whatever, was like the nighttime map. Oh my God, it was my favorite fucking place to fight people too. And just like iron sight bolt action, like with bouncing Bettys.
Bouncing Bettys, man. What a revolutionary game edition. Those fucking things.
Oh my God. I miss old Call of Duty like that, man.
Yeah, it was fucking... It was a moment in time.
Yeah, dude.
We were talking about the other day. We had, like, I'd say, like, one of the most perfect moments in time.
I'd say 2005 to 2012 time period was, I think, the greatest point in video game history.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That span of the early 2000s to like mid to late like 2010s was just fucking
just take it right to Advanced Warfare. That game came out, Harambe died, and just fucking...
everything slid off. The cheese slid off that cracker. I mean, just in general, you had Assassin's Creed 2, you had fucking...
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the industry was
Things were groundbreaking.
Yeah,
there was real new mechanics. fucking
There wasn't a battle pass system
God.
introduced. Like there was
DLC. Nah. You could unlock skins.
Yeah.
You didn't have to buy them.
Yeah, the market, the store market didn't really exist. The only thing the store market was there for was buying the digital copy and then maybe the DLC. You know what I mean? When the most exciting thing to purchase was I didn't buy the deluxe edition, and then like 6 months later they released the deluxe edition on the store that you could purchase then, right? That was what our stores looked like. There was no microtransactions, and if there were, it was very infrequent that you found things that were just fucking ridiculous. I think the downfall was probably PUBG and Fortnite. I think that's where the industry started sliding off the fucking their rocker.
It all comes back to Fortnite.
It always comes back to Fortnite. The sons of bitches. I'm telling you.
Fuck. Oh. We might be back in the worst way, boys. Want to give a big shout out to George Love, voice of Space Ghost. He's passed, and I feel odd that for 2 days me and you were talking about Johnny Quest and Space Ghost Coast to Coast, and then a day later he's
literally
dead.
Literally a day later.
Fucking
the curse is back.
Feels bad, dude. It was funny when Kirstie Alley died, but goddamn, this shit sucks. That one hurt.
You kind of forget that we are cursed because shit just hasn't happened in a while.
It hadn't happened in a long time.
It hadn't happened in a long time. It was weird. It was fucking weird that we were like, let's go through Hanna-Barbera stuff and blah, blah. I sent you that link for YouTube. I was like, dude, I got like 5 of these, man. This is the best way to run it in the morning. And then the next day you sent me that thing and I was just like, oh no, dude. No. Space Ghost Coast to Coast was one of my favorite fucking shows. Original Space Ghost. I mean, I loved original Space Ghost, but it was old. It was old. Space Ghost Coast to Coast, original like Cartoon Network time period. Like that was original like Adult Swim. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I fucking watched the shit out of Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
That's what I was fucking looking for. That fucking like I don't understand why I still haven't watched the real adventures of Johnny Quest. But like I just for whatever reason a couple weeks ago I was like, man, what was that Johnny Quest show? So I like looked it up and they had it on like HBO Max, but it was like the 1960 whatever version. And I was like, nah, this wasn't it. This is too old. And like I've been hunting it. You sent that to me and it almost looks like what I remember. But I remember like, you know, the difference between like just two-dimensional like cartoons and then like when all of a sudden like everything kind of had like a 3D effect, like they would do like I just remember the whoever his like Indian sidekick was,
Haji,
like getting on it. Yeah. Okay. I didn't want to sound racist. That Haji motherfucker. I remember him like getting on like almost like a hoverboard or like a surfboard and it had like a 3D effect. And I was like, fucking like, that's the one I want to watch. Where the fuck is it?
I'm almost positive it's the Real Adventures because that was the one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm almost. I know exactly.
That.
I know exactly what you're talking about for that animation style. It's not the hand drawn. It's like almost a computer digital for that.
Yeah.
And so it looks more 3D than anything else.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive. I think that's what it is because they were a little bit older. Like they're not like kids, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the Real
Adventures.
It's
not like Venture Bros.
Yeah, exactly.
He said Venture Bros. Like, nope, too far.
Yeah, you were like, it was on Cartoon Network. It was like Johnny Quest, and I didn't know you were actually talking about Johnny Quest because the first thing that popped in my head was like C-Lab 2020. Because like that's like one of the first things that like I always think.
No, that was deep. That was a deep cut.
Yeah. So and then I was like, it's either that or Venture Bros, right? Because those are the only two things that like were Johnny. And you were like, no, I mean like actual Johnny Quest. I was like, oh,
yeah. No, it was that, but like that like sparked it. So like I started like going through watching. I watched some Space Ghost Coast to Coast. I was just like, it's like I just wanted to like be in that time again.
Yeah.
You know? Fucking
when
damn.
Hanna-Barbera sold some of the rights or whatever, and they created Boomerang. The
Uh-huh.
Oh my god, that was literally all
Solid.
Dude, it's so good. I would watch Boomerang, and then I would watch the late afternoon Cartoon Network into Adult Swim, and that was just my loop, dude. And then after Adult Swim ended, you go back to Boomerang because they would just be playing fucking random stuff. Magilla Gorilla at like 3 a.m. God, dude. And that's my cartoons, man. That's like Scooby Doo, fucking all that original stuff. Oh, Flintstones. Yeah,
you start getting to like fucking. You start losing me right around Powerpuff Girls. Big Dexter's Lab fan, but like that's where it starts to take a turn, and then you start getting into. And admittedly, like some of these are still great, like Grim Adventures of Bill and Mandy and stuff like that. Like I recognize that they're good, but it's just not the same. Like the animation style and like just everything about it just starts feeling.
I was a huge fan of Bill and Mandy. I was a bigger fan when it was what was it? It was Grim and it was a 2-part show. So the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy are the ones that came after it. But there was like the one point where it was like, do you remember there was like a bear with like a brain in a jar in his gut or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. So the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy came after, but before that it was a 2-part thing. It was called Grim and something. And fuck. Dude,
I know exactly the bear you're talking about.
Yeah.
Can't think of any other part. It's almost like what was IR Baboon from fucking
that was Cartoon Network.
I don't even
IR
remember
Baboon
remotely.
IR Baboon is I Am Weasel. It was I Am Weasel and IR Baboon.
Yeah, okay. I don't know where that came from, but he popped up in my head and I started fucking like doing this and fucking jumping around like an idiot one day.
IR Baboon. Remember Cow and Chicken?
Cow and Chicken. Cat Dog.
Okay, so if we go back to the Nickelodeon time point.
Cat Dog was Nickelodeon.
That was Nickelodeon. Because then you had Angry Beavers.
Angry Beavers was fucking goated.
Dag! Like, oh my god, I loved Angry Beavers, man.
God, I'm telling you, best point in time. We've peaked. I don't give a fuck.
Grim and Evil. It was called Grim and Evil in 2003. It followed, the Billy and Mandy adventures, and then it was Professor Evil or whatever the fuck it was, right? Yeah, because Hanna-Barbera is the ones that did all the Cartoon Network stuff. All of those cartoons and everything is all handled by the same company, that overarching company. Ah, man. Nickelodeon, there wasn't a whole lot of stuff on Nickelodeon. I mean, old school Nickelodeon, we had like All Real Monsters.
Yeah, that's a solid one. All Real Monsters, Ren and Stimpy.
Hey Arnold.
Invader Zim.
Yeah. God.
Thank God. Just Nickelodeon Cartoon Network just duking it out.
I don't know what I liked better. I think I'd say I like Cartoon Network better.
Cartoon Network, 1,000%.
Because you had, I mean, Nickelodeon was good. It's like original Nickelodeon was like Rugrats, like Hey Arnold. I think SpongeBob was on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Cat Dog, Doug.
Doug was a banger.
Doug was a banger. What else is on that list? Ren and Stimpy, all that. Are You Afraid of the Dark?
All that. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Yeah.
God,
let's not forget Crashbox.
Oh yeah,
that was HBO. That was a little like, ooh, we're up there, but
Nickelodeon. Wild Thornberries.
Yeah.
What was Fairly Odd Parents was on there? That was like at the tail end. I think Fairly Odd Parents was. I still enjoy Fairly Odd Parents. But I think that was when
that was like right when I had grown out of it.
Yeah. Rocket Power.
Woogity, woogity, woogity.
What was it? Temple of the Hidden, or fuck, what was it called? It was the game show where they had to go and find the monkey idol.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was it called? Fuck. Oh, this is gonna piss me off.
Uh-huh.
Oh no. Live action. Okay, hold on. Here we go.
I think live action is where Nickelodeon started doing it wrong.
Yeah.
It also brought them a lot of success, but like making that big switch, it's like they went from like fighting with fucking, not fighting, but like competing with Cartoon Network to like, let's take on Disney Channel. And they just kind of took on that persona.
Legend of the Hidden Temple.
Legend of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah.
That's
Disney was, I don't know, man. I feel like when I was a kid, Disney was just like Mickey Mouse cartoons. Like I just remember that a lot. I just remember
Mickey Mouse until Aladdin, the animated series, came out.
Yes.
That was a banger.
Yeah.
That was a banger.
Aladdin animated series, and there was a couple other ones on Disney, but I don't really remember.
Little ones here and there, but then it just kind of turned into like Disney Channel movies.
Yeah. Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
That's all I watched on fucking Disney Channel.
Yeah.
Because it was Disney, like, that was where, like, Kim Possible and all that shit was. I just don't think.
Yeah. Yeah. See, it just, meh.
Yeah, it just did not hit the same way. No. But I think I may have also been a little too old for that.
That is true. Yeah.
Because was it. Which station had the original X-Men, Spider-Man, Gargoyles? Where was that at?
40.
Yeah,
Fox
Channel 40,
right?
Yeah, it was like Channel 40 or whatever.
It was like a Fox syndicated.
Yeah.
And then WB came along and they had their the Batman and all that.
Yeah, the animated series was on WB.
Batman animated series.
Animaniacs. Yeah, dude.
Fucking Freakazoid.
Yep. And then that
was a powerhouse too. Dude, Saturday mornings on WB.
Dude. Because then that was where Looney Tunes was at, you know?
Yeah.
Tiny Toons.
I think even somewhere on just local channels, the Aladdin series was, and then eventually it became like a Disney Channel exclusive.
I felt like it was the other way
around.
If I remember
correctly.
I felt like it was always on Disney Channel and then it was out other places.
I don't know. I didn't have Disney Channel until I had satellite. For the longest time, it was just
maybe
rabbit ears, you know?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't remember how I watched cartoons the way that I did back in the day. I mean, you know what I remember watching?
Like pre-internet.
Yeah, dude. Because I think, early enough in the morning, because I wasn't up because Teresa and my dad had to take me to like daycare super fucking early in the morning. I was always like the first kid there because they had to leave at like 5 a.m. or whatever. But cartoons weren't on at that point. I just remember watching like TV Land. Like Andy Griffith, like Gilligan's Island.
Don't get me fucking started on TV Land, dude. I wasn't lying when I said I watched fucking Gunsmoke Bonanza.
Dude, I Love Lucy. Like, those were my morning routine. Like, I would wake up in the morning as a little kid and Teresa would just put on Gilligan's Island and I would just jam out to Gilligan's Island every day. And then, like, that might also be why I have such a love for like the old stuff. Like old TVs and old movies and things like that. Like one of my favorite movies to this day, like
MASH.
Yeah. My favorite movie to this day is like 1926 Nosferatu, which is like a silent film, you know?
Yeah, it's a little weird.
It's a little weird. But it's just Casablanca is like an easy top 5 for me. I fucking love Casablanca. I love that movie, man. Anything like old like that, like just almost like the black and white era, like that, like TV Land, like old school Hollywood Land movies.
There's definitely some good ones, but I can only watch them like once a year.
Yeah.
I can't watch them back to back. It has to be like, man, you know what I haven't seen? And then I'll sit and watch it. And then I'm good. I'm good for a while.
It might be the opposite. Wait, anything new movie I might have seen? Like, I'm talking about like new in the past, like 20 years. You know what I mean? If I watch
John Wick
once in a blue moon, I can't watch that movie continuously.
Oh, fuck, dude. I could watch like 1, 2, 3, 4, repeat. By the time my wife gets home, I'm drunk. I have every gun I have out, and I'm protecting my fucking cat. Fucking God.
John Wick movies are good. I will watch the first one anytime it comes up. That movie.
2, fuck yes.
2 is
3.
4.
I'll watch it. 4. Fucking, I'm back.
Dude, okay, one for sure. 2, I don't have any problem with, and I'll sit down and watch it. 3, I will probably skip. I think that movie was just dog shit. Like, even the
fight. How he buries dogs?
No, pun on. But just the fighting in that one looked like when he's fighting the 2 Filipino dudes or whatever.
Yeah,
is the worst
choreography. A little too worked. Yeah.
4 though. I will watch that movie just to see the top down with the fucking dragon breath.
Yeah, that was hot.
This is so sick, dude. That's probably the best part of that fucking movie. Oh my God, it's so sick. It just like pans up and then you just see him just rolling over the table, just like just people on fire. I was like, oh my God, that's so amazing. Oh God, that movie is good. But again, I don't need to watch that one 100 times because maybe it's just too new or whatever. But I'm also like a hopeless romantic when it comes to like the old school movies, like those old school love movies, like not like love movies where it's like Casablanca, but like just there's just
LA Confidential.
Yeah, there you go, perfect. Yeah. What's I'm drawing a
hookers getting killed.
Oh my God. Oh my God. All right, let's wrap this up.
Oh yeah.
We're doing a podcast.
Hey guys, have a great Monday.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy your 1 less hour of sleep. And I sincerely hope that I don't hear. Yeah.
What?
That I don't hear anymore.
You don't hear anymore?
I was trying to figure out how I can push this curse on somebody I don't like, but I'm afraid I'm going to jinx it and put it on somebody that I do like. And I swear to God, if Danny DeVito dies this week, I'll fucking stop this podcast.
Robert De Niro?
Yeah, you can take him.
Yeah.
God, take him.
Mel Gibson? I just saw a movie with Mel Gibson, and that was.
I want to keep Mel around
for a little bit. I want to.
Yeah, I feel like he's got more story to tell.
Who do you think unexpectedly would end up dying?
Oh, Mel Gibson's a good candidate.
Oh man, who would you hate to see go? Like hate. Like just it should not. Like right now, top of your list. Like one, I would like Jim Carrey. Like don't take him.
Yeah, that would
be.
That would suck. I wouldn't be devastated.
Not I don't know if I'd ever be devastated.
He got weird after like he fucking like because didn't he like like
retired,
almost, like, talk his girlfriend into fucking killing herself? And
I don't know about that. He just got really weird. I think
he got really weird right around like Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind. Like from there forward, is like what the fuck's going on with you, Jim?
Yeah.
Remember number 23? What the fuck was that?
I think that was a great fucking movie, though. That was a great movie.
Yes. He was just the wrong person to play it.
Yeah. Eternals, when he started doing way more serious roles was when I was like, I'm interested in it because I've never seen Jim Carrey in serious roles. But they were just like always.
But meh. Yeah.
Eternal Sunshine was a great fucking movie, though.
Yeah. Was good.
One of my favorites. All right. We're out here. You got a week to prep for St. Paddy's Day. I want the rivers to look green. All right, we're out of here.
What day?
I think it's not this Monday, but next Monday. It's not today. It's next Monday. Yeah, I hear you.
I don't work in a bar anymore. I don't care.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.